Welcome to Beyond Vows Veils, your luxury wedding experience. Our podcast, I feel, is a treasure trove of inspiration and insight for newly engaged couples. Join us as we have captivating stories, expert insight, and real wedding experiences that you can listen and learn from.
Hey everyone, Brittany here with Ventrix Weddings. Thank you so much for choosing to join me each week to listen, learn, and discover more ways that you can make more informed decisions on your wedding planning journey. So today I want to talk about a topic that I feel will resonate with a lot of newly engaged couples or couples that are early in their planning journey. I'm talking about the venue road trip, or also known as the venue burnout road trip. So you should know the one. It's where you get newly engaged and you decide that you're going to chat GPT this, you're going to hop on a plane, you're going to rent a car, you're going to book back-to-back site visits, you're going to reach out to properties, you're going to show up to properties and just get a sense of their aesthetic. And you're going to really convince yourself that this is going to be such a good idea. It's going to be so much fun. And the thing is that this might be a fun little first adventure for a newly engaged couple until essentially it's not. You're on your fourth city, you've researched your 16th venue, and the only thing that essentially you've decided is how over it that you are. And trust me, you're not alone. A lot of couples will burn themselves out before they've even truly begun. So whether you're in the thick of this process or you've already done it and you want to make sure that you learned with a friend and present this to them for potentially making the same mistake, then this episode really is for you. So here's really the truth. Planning a wedding is a lot like planning or building the foundations for a house. You don't start by picking out the throw pillows and the paint color. You start by laying a solid foundation. And in our case, that is intentions and financials. So starting with intentions, one of the first things that you should consider asking yourself is, what do we want this wedding to feel like? Are we prioritizing guest experience? And if so, that might mean daily meals or curated hospitality, thoughtful gifting, or activity-packed weekends? Or is the focus more maximizing our guest count, inviting all of our friends and family? Do you want a 4-day affair with all the bells and whistles? Or would you rather simplify the schedule and elevate to a few meaningful moments instead? So why this matters is essentially because your venue will either support or restrict your vision. Do they have enough space for your scheduled events? Not just the main events, but hair and makeup rooms, a hospitality room, a storage room for all that stuff that you purchase late night on Etsy. Ultimately, are there indoor backup spaces and other options? Can they accommodate your entire guest count? Are there rooms that are available at a favorable rate? These are all intentional questions that you should get clear on so that the right venue becomes easier to spot. And ultimately, the next step really is going to be talking about money. So how much is this going to cost us? And here's really where that fantasy gets real. And I hear all the time people or clients of mine or potential clients of mine really not understanding how much anything's going to cost. And so hopefully I can answer a little bit of that on today's podcast. I know I talk about it on several other episodes as well. So if you're looking at a photo on Pinterest or on Instagram and you're asking any wedding planner or our office, for example, to recreate it, you're looking at this without knowing any context to the guest count or the property tier or the event space, which isn't really helpful because essentially what you're asking is, what is the all-in cost going to be for my wedding? And if you're looking at a single image, well, that wedding could have cost $500,000, but the guest count was only for 80 people, or $150,000, but it was only for 20. At our office, before we even begin recommending venues, we build out a comprehensive wedding estimate. Why, you might ask? Because nothing's worse than falling in love with a property only to realize it's double what you intended to spend. Literally cue the heartbreak. That's why the venue roadmap, while exciting, can actually derail your planning if done too soon. So what this podcast is all about is to support you in how to avoid the burnout. So instead of aimless ChatGPT searches or Google searches or hotel tours, grab a glass of wine, make a coffee date, and sit down with your partner and align on your shared priorities. Present this to your families, especially anyone financially contributing, to gather their input early. Then have the less fun but necessary talk about the budget. Here's a reality check. Hosting 250 guests for a full 2 days of meals and events will likely not come in under 250,000 in today's market. If that number surprises you, it is okay. That's why we're having this conversation. You may need to revisit how many events you're hosting, how many people are invited, and where you want to invest the most. Once you're aligned with what feels like the right number or even below what you expected, that's when you bring in a planner, because that planner is going to help you to stretch that investment, narrow in on the venues that actually make sense for your goals, and help you enjoy the process instead of essentially just surviving it. So I hope that this is supportive for you. This is supposed to be a special time. The journey essentially to I Do should be one that you want to look back on with fond memories, not one that you want to essentially just be over. So if you found this episode to be helpful, I would highly recommend that you subscribe to our channel. I am always pumping out, I feel, free and supportive content for newly engaged couples or couples in the middle of their planning journey to make informed decisions. We offer real-time guidance that helps you to plan through with clarity, attention, and hopefully some excitement. Thank you so much for listening.